When you work with students, I think that's something that comes more easily because you have so many positives to look forward to every day. You get to see students the minute you get into the classroom as a teacher, your viewpoint changes. It really kind of does that 180 or almost 180.
Piper Bognar, Superintendent of Dyke Public Schools, leads with a personal brand, opportunity, regardless. She is recognized as a facilitator of safe, supportive, and equitable environments for students, staff, and families. Guided by the mission every student, every day, no matter what, Piper Bognar embodies the belief that education opens doors and that community schools are the foundation of success.
You've got to get up in the morning and know that you're doing something you're passionate about and that there's some way that you're making every day better for someone. If this is your passion, if you do what you love, love what you do, then that's what makes it seem easy.
Piper Bognar, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to see you, and it's great to know that we are moving on towards the end of the school year, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's always a good feeling. It's bittersweet when the students leave, but it's nice to know that they're moving on and up.
Yeah, yeah. And reflecting on this past year, what are you leaving behind? What is one thing that you're leaving behind, and one thing that you're taking with you?
Ooh, well, I think one thing that I'm leaving behind is, I'll leave behind any negativity that came my way, which was not too much. We had a great year. And one thing I'll take with me is a lot of insight from our students. I think our students give me so much hope for the future. They're so insightful. They ask fantastic questions. They're very knowledgeable about the world. I'm not sure it's because they have a computer in their pocket, but they are very knowledgeable when something goes on in the world or current events wise, or whether it's local or state or worldwide. They are very in tune and they really think deeply about how it relates to their daily life or their friends' daily lives or their families or where they're going to go to college or whatever it may be. And they give me great hope that they're going to make positive changes. So that's my positive.
That's really optimistic. And tell me about the negative things that you're leaving behind. How do you do that in your daily life, in your daily routine? Is it like a habit? Is it like practice? How do you leave the negative behind?
Sure. I think part of it is being busy and being busy with things that are positive. So when you work with students, I think that's something that comes more easily because you have so many positives to look forward to every day. You get to see students learning and thriving, and even students who may be struggling, you get to help them with that. And that's such a good feeling that you don't think of the negative at that time. Even if students come to you needing help with something, you're at least able to listen and try to problem solve together, and it may not be perfect. I also have the privilege of working with so many adults who are very caring, very smart, really, really willing to do whatever it takes for students and families. And that helps me to think positively. You know, if you turn on the news, no matter how you feel about anything, there's so much going on in the world. And we have to look inward. We have to look at ourselves as mirrors and try to be that kindness and that caring and that compassion.
Great, great. And it's like a daily practice. You need to reverse things all the time, right? Because
Yes.
if you
Yes,
if
every year in the graduation speech, I ask students how they're going to make things better out in the world. And I ask students that in the schools also. So you've got to get up in the morning and know that you're doing something you're passionate about and that there's some way that you're making every day better for someone.
Yeah, great. Is there, do you teach any daily practices like this in your schools or in your teams so they can pass it on to the students?
We do. We talk a lot about making sure that we can self-regulate. If something big is going on around us and we're not sure how to react, we teach even our youngest students how to self-regulate, what they might need to do in those situations that make you feel a little bit out of control. How do you then bring that back in and work on that self-control piece? Or how do you, I was working with a group of middle school girls this year. How do you think about in those moments of maybe higher emotion, what is assertive communication versus aggressive communication? What does that look like? What does that sound like? And how do you feel after you've learned to speak assertively and communicate assertively? Because you don't have to do that aggressively. You can do it with respect and still state what you need and what you want. So we teach skills like that all the way throughout, from preschool all the way up through 12th grade when they graduate.
And do you feel that the students take that in and also teach it to other students as well?
They definitely do. And it, when we were talking in my middle school girls group last week, we were wrapping up the school year and talking about all of the lessons we had worked together on throughout the year. And I saw them maybe once every other week. They were going back to especially that communication piece and some things that we had learned about really dealing with just difficult situations that may come up later in their teen lives or their in adult lives. They would remember those and talk about how, wow, I talked to my mom about that or my friend about that.
That's powerful. When they pass it on to other members,
Yeah.
that's done. The work is done. Okay. So is there something that a student gave you answer to, like you couldn't answer it yourself, you couldn't find the solution yourself, but you found the solution through a student, through a group of students?
Ooh, all the time. Because like I said, they are so insightful. I work with a high school group. They're my superintendent's leadership council, and we just keep our dialogue open. And often they really do just answer each other. And I always tell them, I don't need to be the smartest person in the room. I don't even need to be a smart person in the room. They've all got each other. We kind of bounce ideas off of each other for how to make our district and our community better. And they're the ones who I tell them I want to hear their ideas because
Mm.
they are going to be our community leaders. Most of them were about to graduate. I want to see what their ideas are. They've done things from getting new traffic lights put in near the school because things were dangerous for them and for the younger students in the area. They have talked with people who are running for office. They've talked with our fire chief and our police officers. They've done all kinds of things like that. They have created presentations to talk about how they would feel that the school was set up more so for safety. So I don't really feel like I need to answer all of their questions. And if I can't, they understand that's just reality. And most
Yeah,
of them can answer each other's questions.
yeah. And they're so empowered when they can answer questions you cannot answer, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And is it something that leaders are missing today, or educators are missing? Like they don't listen to their students, they just want to just pass on the knowledge they have?
I don't know if it's completely missing, but I think that when we all go to school, that's what we think is we're going to be this sage on the stage, and we really need to be the guide on the side. And
Mm.
you learn that the minute you get in front of students in that real situation in the classroom. And they're the ones who need to be doing the work. They should be more tired than you at the end of the day. And I tell my students that, I only get to work with a couple of groups because I'm doing the superintendent-y stuff the rest of the time. But they appreciate that. They want to be challenged. They want to, in a high school group, they want to read college level reading passages and be asked questions about those. And they want to talk about difficult topics. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I do think that the minute you get into the classroom as a teacher, your viewpoint changes. It really kind of does that 180 or almost 180, because what you think and what you see in the movies and what you hear is not necessarily reality.
Wow. Yeah, true, true. And what is one skill that you honed after you became a superintendent?
I would say vulnerability. And I've
Mm.
thought about that a lot lately. I tell people that if we have an emergency situation, or tell people who are close to me that it's hard to react as anything other than just, here's what we do, here's what we do next, here's what we do next, here's who I check on now, here's who I check on next. And I don't really react as Piper. Maybe about 3 days later, I will personally process and I'll react as me. But in some cases, it's okay to be vulnerable. And that's
Mm.
something that I have wrestled with my entire life, is being vulnerable in front of other people. We're a smaller district and we're all somewhat close knit. And, I think that vulnerability really can be a strength.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't expect this answer. Amazing, amazing. And thank you for sharing it. Because
Sure.
I think lots of
It's difficult, but I'm working on
yeah,
it.
yeah, and lots of leaders are trying to avoid that.
Hmm.
Sure, they are, but it's part of our authentic self. So the more
It
we
is.
accept it and acknowledge it, the better we are going to
Mhm.
thrive in our teams. And what has been a major challenge for you and your team this past year or the last couple of years?
So we work really well together, and I think the entire district, whether you're looking at our central office team, our administrative team, or our entire staff as a team, everybody's really good at saying, what's our goal and how do we get there?
Mm,
And everybody steps up, everybody gets things done. I would say challenge-wise, um, we usually have challenges with budget because it's really, really difficult to address all the needs of a child. We try to address if our students are food insecure, if they need clothing, if they need mental health support in the schools. And that does take a great deal of resources. It also takes a great deal of time. So
mm,
we want to do that without people feeling like they're stretched too thin. That is a huge challenge, and budget helps that. But when we don't have an adequate budget for that, we know that our students still need those things and we
mm,
tend to stretch. So
mm,
that's always a challenge. I think another challenge is seeing all of these wonderful things that are available for our students and narrowing that down. One of my things as superintendent is to narrow our focus so that we can be really good at what we do. And I
mm,
know people appreciate that because we don't want to have a list every day of 17 things to do, maybe 3 or 4, so we
mm,
can do those things well. We don't want a plan for our school that's 125 pages, maybe 4 pages. And that makes life a lot easier. That makes, that there are only so many things that your brain can handle in a day.
mm. Yeah, yeah. And that's a beautiful lesson for everybody in a team and for the students, of course, to just pick three major things, prioritize three things, and then move on to another three and another three.
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And do you feel that your team is working towards the same goals? Do you feel that you are in alignment?
I really do. Everyone, like I said, is very student-centered and community-centered because we know that's a huge part of their lives. We go far beyond 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. when our high schoolers arrive and when our little ones leave. We go far beyond that because we know every part of their day affects their learning, their success, their mindset. So we try to do everything we can to provide what students and families need. But I do think we're on the same page as far as we collaborate often. There's not a ton of time for, say, our high school teachers to talk to our elementary teachers, but our high school teachers all talk to each other. Our middle school teachers all talk to each other. Elementary school teachers talk to each other. I try to be in the buildings as much as I can, which is, I would like to be there more, but we have other things that we've got to do with
Yeah.
compliance. We collaborate on what does the curriculum look like, and then how does the instruction look as a result of that. So we have worked together on what does good assessment look like? How do we know our students are really learning without just talking about those old drill and kill tests? We don't want those. And I think everyone is on the same page with that. And we're really, like I said, focused on the individual student and the whole child.
Yeah, beautiful. And what is the policy that you're like all the practices that you're doing to work on the whole child? Can you give
Well,
us?
we look at what the other needs are. We've started, well, not started, we've been collecting a lot of data to say, if somebody is not successful or you can tell they're not feeling successful, is it a mathematics score? Is it not? Is it attendance? If it's an attendance issue, what is the issue with not getting to school? Is it an older child walking a younger sibling to class and that's why they're late? What can we do to help with that? I was in the middle school a couple of weeks ago and there were a bunch of younger students sitting at a table coloring. And I
Mm,
said, oh, what's this group doing? And they said, well, they all go to the elementary school next door and all of their siblings are here. Their siblings were coming in late because they were walking them to school. So now we have our elementary bunch that comes here early. They color or they play a game. And then we have our detection and therapy dogs with their handlers. So one of the dogs walks them to school when it's time.
Wow.
Yeah. So we come up with a lot of creative ways to make sure everyone has what they need. And that way, all of the entire family's in school on time and getting all of their instruction. And that's just one example. But looking at the data of what is affecting something else, and it could be just one of those lines of dominoes where the student's not in school because of this, so they're missing their science class, and then they're not understanding this, and then it's affecting all of these other items.
Mm. Wow, that takes a lot of forward thinking, I guess. Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
we've got some really innovative people.
yeah. So Piper, what keeps you motivated to do all these things?
Well, I say this all the time, but I feel so fortunate to work where I work. Everybody here is amazing, and that's all the staff, the students, the families. My board is amazing, and we all really care about students. And I know that sounds like it goes without saying when you're in a school, but this is just a really special place. I feel like we've been a hidden gem for a long time, and we're more of a sparkling diamond now. And our students, you can feel it when you walk in our buildings. You can feel that the staff is working for everyone. You can feel that the students are wanting to achieve, and we've worked to turn some things around. When you talk to our high schoolers now, it's not, I think that girl's picking on me. It's, I've got to finish this because in 2 years I'm going to be at college, or I'm going to be in this career. Just different tones in the buildings that we've really, really worked on, and knowing that our community supports us and supports every single one of our students.
Beautiful, beautiful. And why do you think it's easy for some leaders? How come it's so easy for some leaders and so difficult for some others? What do you think is the recipe?
I think some make it look easy because I don't think it's ever easy. We might joke. I mean, I would not do anything else with my time. I wouldn't. There's nothing else I would want to do, and there's nowhere else I would rather be, but it's definitely not easy. I would say, is it worth it? Oh, yes. 100 times yes. Not easy. But I think if this is your passion, if you do what you love what you do, then that's what makes it seem easy. There's never a day where I go home and say, I don't want to do this. I always love what I do. And I think that's what makes a lot of the people in the district look like what they're doing is effortless. We might be tired at the end of the day, but
Yeah.
that's what makes it look like we're supposed to be here.
And how do you recharge when you're not at work? What
Well, some people say they run 50 miles. I'm not a runner. Um, I do appreciate physical activity, but lately it's just been, if I get a chance on a weekend, I'm taking a nap. Or, I like to hang out with my husband and my dog. I love to see friends and family when I can. I do like to read. So I like a mixture of things. I need to get back into that physical activity because that really does help the stress level.
Yeah. So you think that just reading could be enough? Like take some time on your own, stay present.
I do. I think that would
Right?
be good. I think because when I go home, some days I want absolute quiet. No talking, no radio, no TV,
Yeah.
and it just depends on the day.
Because for a lot of people, they think that taking, like when they're not at work, they should be doing things, and they should be being like be present in lots of areas. And this is what burns them out also, because they
Yes,
have to do it, not because they want to. But
right.
staying at home is okay, right?
Rest is essential. Our
Yeah.
bodies need rest and our brains need rest. If I'm feeling guilty about not doing anything, I have to tell myself that over and over. And I think we've been kind of conditioned to feel guilty if we rest, but I can't feel that way anymore. I
Yeah.
want to show up and be the best for people at work and at home.
Yes. And resting is okay and just fine. Great.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me something that you teach your students to do when when they want to do things in their lives, but they want to make a decision, like how do you teach them to make decisions?
Ooh, well, I would say, well, one basic thing I think is like the pros and cons list. You know,
Hmm.
think of why this is a good decision and why it may not be a good decision. How does it affect you and how does it affect the people in your life? Is this going to make the world better? That's one thing I might ask. Is this feeding your passion? If it's not feeding your passion, it probably won't make you very happy in the long run. You know, and I tell them you've got to find something that's more than a paycheck and more than just the day-to-day grind.
Hmm.
And really, you've got, if you're not happy, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I teach them.
Hmm.
If it's a, you know, if they're just trying to make a day-to-day decision, like should I get this part-time job just for the next few months until I go away to school? I would ask them, is it something you can handle doing for the next 6 months or even the school year? Is it something that you think you would be happy enough going in and doing day to day? Can you handle the workload? If they're asking about maybe dual enrollment, we have several students who, while they're taking a full term of high school, will take college classes as well. Think about these classes. You'll be in there with college students, and I'll say, you know, I think that you could handle this and this. What do you think? Your homework's going to look different. The class is going to look different. And just if I have any experience with it, tell them what that might be. So I think all of us do a lot of things to try to help students with that.
Hmm.
And I always tell them that, you know, my personal brand as an educator and a leader is opportunity regardless. I want all of my students to have every opportunity, regardless of where they live, where they grew up, the same opportunities that they would have 20 miles down the road. And we're a smaller school. We have about 600 high schoolers and 500 middle schoolers. Excuse me. So I want them to have the same opportunities as a larger high school. A few of the high schools around here partner and make sure we've got 21 career and tech educational programs. They don't offer that at many schools. So I tell them I will personally make sure they have those opportunities.
Yeah. Tell me more about these programs. They must be
Oh,
really.
sure. Sure. So there are 4 high schools, our 4 districts that are right kind of smushed together that are about the same size. So we have several in the medical field. In our building, we have auto tech. So we have students who graduate and go right to work for auto companies, car dealerships, whatever it might be, and they're certified. We have CAD, so computer aided drawing, and that looks even different than it did 10 years ago. We have students who are able to go into industry right from there and make more money than any of us would have thought of making even out of college, let alone high school. We have manufacturing tech where students are working on things that like a 5-axis CNC machine. I've learned so much. I've learned what all of these machines are. I had no idea before. We've had people donate machines that are $2 million to our machine lab. We have a culinary program where people can come out with all kinds of certifications and work in the hospitality industry. We have a dental assisting class where people are coming out. They can have some of the certifications, not a full certification, but now we've added that second year class where they can come out with more certifications. We have several of our graduates running dental offices in the area and working as hygienists. So that's what we have at our building. And then at the other buildings, we have firefighting, EMS, police officers. We have physical therapy, marketing and other business classes. So there are so many. And like I said, we have 21 programs between the 4 schools that give students all kinds of options.
That's beautiful. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. And they don't
We
have
also
to
have
go,
the dual enrollment. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, and they don't even have to go to college before they join.
No,
Yeah.
no. So we are focused on college and career and whatever their drive is for post-secondary. We have a college career and graduation coach that helps them to see many of the options, whether she's bringing in colleges for college visits or taking students for college visits. The dual enrollment is a great chance to get some credits before they graduate. And then we have what we call early college. So after 12th grade, they'll be halfway done with their associate's degree. And then an additional year, they'll have their associate's degree for free.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard of this program before.
It's great. I wish they would have had it when I was in school.
Yeah, yeah, true, true. And Are there any other programs for the younger ones that prime them for this career transition later on?
Yes, actually. So we've started to do a lot more with STEM and robotics in our middle school. And we also do still, a lot of schools don't have like a wood shop or building class anymore. We have that at our middle school. Our little ones have a technology class, and they've still got all the fine arts classes in elementary and in middle school. So we try to make sure that beyond our academics, which everything is, we have a viable curriculum that is vetted. And like I said, we've worked on our balanced assessments and pulling out our power standards. Beyond that, we have a great enrichment program that includes music, visual arts, technology, physical education, and the students are able to go to those classes every week.
Yeah, amazing. And it's always important to have students use their hands and do
Yes,
crafts, whatever kind of crafts they love, and have all these opportunities.
it
Yeah,
is.
great. And is there something that you would like to like guidance or mentoring to somebody who is going to be a superintendent now and be supervising all those, having all those roles in one?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is to kind of find a person or two or three or four that you can reach out to. We have a group that we have a group text, and we use it every day. There are 5 of us on there. We just ask silly questions of something that comes up. Hey, do you do this, or do you have this? And we all answer, and it's really nice to have that support system. If you feel like you're kind of out alone somewhere, ask your state organization if they have mentoring, or find someone that you think you have something in common with on LinkedIn or somewhere else that you might go. Because it's just really nice to have somebody to bounce things off of, someone that you feel comfortable with, and somebody that you know is not going to judge you. And anybody who's a superintendent is not going to judge you, because we've all seen it all.
Yeah, yeah, true.
It's nice to have someone.
You think a group of other superintendents, right? Is
Yes,
the
yeah,
key priority for a new one.
yeah. Because it does, it's difficult. There are a lot of things that you might go home and talk to whoever you live with about that, your significant other. Maybe you might talk to older adult children, but they weren't there. They don't really get it. They might be
I
happy
have
to
no
listen to
idea.
you, but you can't talk to people at work about it usually. So you need someone else that you can bounce some things off of.
Yeah, yeah. And somebody who is out of the equation and
Yes,
out in the
absolutely.
storm,
Yes,
right?
that's the important part.
Yeah, great. And what are your plans for next year?
Oh boy. Well, so many things. It's nice. We have a very solid administrative team. We don't have a lot of turnover. We have one person who's retiring, which and she's just she's almost sad about it, but we're happy for her. I wish she would stay, but we're happy for her. So we will have one new person on our administrative team for the first time in several years. But our administrative team is a really tight core group of people that we have the same goals, the same vision, the same mission. Our mission is every student, every day, no matter what. So we have established curriculum teams, and our teachers work together. Every other Wednesday, we have an early release so that our teachers can assess their data and see what can we do, if anything, do we need to change or revise in our delivery and instruction. So we plan to continue that. There are some specific areas that we've identified where we might need to kind of drill down a little more in our multi-tiered system of support. So we will be focusing on that. We have a 2-time state back-to-back basketball team Division II winners for Michigan. So our basketball team will keep it up, and our other extracurriculars as well. So we don't plan on any huge changes this fall, but we're going to keep up everything we can.
It's amazing that you have the same team for years.
Yes,
That's
it's so
amazing. That's
nice.
something you cannot find easily.
Yeah.
Great. And then I know it's very difficult to make long-term goals, to set any long-term goals because everything just changes really quickly. But is there something you see in the horizon, like 5 years down the road, you'd
I
like?
think so. So we have reached a few of our long-term goals. One of them was to bring more parents and families into our buildings. And honestly, COVID helped with that because we did a lot of home visits and got to know a lot of the families better. So that one we've achieved. And to for some reason, the reputation of the district was that our students maybe weren't well behaved, but now we have a much more positive reputation. People know our students are well behaved. We don't get really flagged that we have incidents or anything in our schools. So that's been great. And I want to continue that turnaround. And we really want to continue to work on our achievement and success. You know, a lot of what we have to do here depends on state test scores. So we're always looking to increase those along with all of the other good that's going on. We're also really looking at attendance right now, chronic attendance.
Yeah. And is it do you have better results now?
We do. We've seen a lot of improvement over the last year or two, and we've been doing some very concentrated things to improve that. So we're hoping that our rates increase for attendance and our chronic absenteeism goes down over the next few years.
Can you share a couple of things that you changed and you increased the
Yeah,
attendance?
sure. So some is, you know, the classic rewards. We've done a couple of like no tardy parties at the high school and done some things like that in other buildings. But really the crux of what's helping is talking with families and asking about things. What is it that's, you know, what is it that's the reason your child has been tardy every Tuesday? Is there something Tuesday morning or something Monday night? Can we help with that? Even just finding out like those middle schoolers who were late because they had to drop off their elementary siblings. So finding out these things, and then there's always a way we can help at the school. We can do something. So we're trying to work on that. We've also partnered with a company called Concentric, and they do home visits. So during COVID, like I said, we had more time to do home visits because all of the students were home. And now that all of the students are in school, we don't have as much time. We still like to visit when we can, but Concentric does home visits with us. So they're finding out what the barriers are for students either coming to school or coming on time. And then we're talking about that with them, and we're reaching out to the families saying we can help with this.
Yeah, that's really important, like connecting with the family and getting to
Yeah.
the root of the problem.
Mhm.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Piper.
Yeah, of course.
Moving on to the last part of this
Okay.
podcast, I have a game. I play
Okay.
with my guests. So I have a pile of books, and I want you to pick one of the books, either read the title or give me which one first, second.
Oh, Atomic Habits is intriguing.
Okay. All right. And where is it? I want you to give me a page number.
137.
All right. And I will read, give me a line, and I will read the context.
10.
Okay. So there is a grid here. How
Oh,
to
okay.
break a bad habit. So I will read all.
Oh,
Okay. I will
okay.
read. And then we'll discuss how this resonates with whatever you're doing in your personal or professional life.
Okay.
So, inversion of the first law. So we need context here. Make it invisible.
Okay.
Reduce exposure. Remove the cues of your bad habits from your environment. Inversion of the second law. Make it unattractive. Reframe your mindset. Highlight the benefits of avoiding your bad habits. Inversion of the third law. Make it difficult. An inversion of the fourth law. Make it unsatisfying.
Okay.
How does it resonate?
So it does resonate. I'm thinking more in my personal life, but I'm trying to think of a work relation.
At the beginning of the conversation, we're talking about me removing what's negative and focusing
Yes,
on the positive. So this is exactly that, I guess.
it is. Let's see. Well, I can easily relate it to candy because I love to eat candy, but I would like to think of a more relevant one for
Make
work.
it invisible.
I think one thing that I can definitely relate this to in my work and education life is, you can't make everyone happy all of the time as a leader. And I know making everyone happy is not my goal as a leader. Making sure that we're serving students and making them successful and helping them to achieve is my goal as a leader. So I try to push that out. I listen to what people are saying, of course. And I have to say to myself, did I really look at the big picture? And that's something I talk with people about a lot with leadership. I have to look at the big picture. I understand that maybe you don't love that for your classroom or, your books or your desks or whatever it might be. But I've got to look at the big picture. I've got to look at lunches. I've got to look at bleachers. I've got to look at the football field. I have to look at the heating and cooling. And of course, I've got to still look at curriculum and kids and parents and all of the staff. So did I really look at the big picture? So then I can push it out of the way. I can make the noise, whatever the noise might be, unattractive. So I have, your skin gets thicker and thicker the longer you're in whatever profession you're in. So I can just say that's okay. That's one person's opinion and mine is different. And that's what makes the world go round. So I think that's probably the best thing that I can relate it to, leadership wise and education wise, is you're never going to make anyone happy. You can't make all of the people happy all of the time. And I think Abraham Lincoln said that. And that's our high school is Lincoln High School, and our middle school is Lincoln Middle School, and we have a Lincoln Elementary School. So that brings it full circle for me.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Piper, for the honor. It's been a great honor, and it was so nice to meet you and learn more about you and what you do. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Theodora, it's been so nice to talk to you.